Hello, my name's Angus and welcome to another CameraPro video. In today's fairly saturated market where simpler, more travel-friendly counterparts of flagship cameras are being released consistently, manufacturers are really being put to the test to create something that truly stands out from the crowd, especially considering that the sacrifices made to achieve a more compact build can often be real deal breakers for users. The camera we're looking at today is akin to these other smaller, lighter bodies, suffering from its own design compromises in order to achieve a condensed form factor, except it's got a couple of tricks up its sleeve. This camera not only flaunts the ability to allow users to step away from the editing suite, but it also transforms and fast-tracks the entire content delivery process. We're of course referring to Panasonic's newest offering, the Lumix S9. Panasonic was friendly enough to send us a couple of units to try out, so let's dive into the review. As usual, we'll start by looking at the body and the design of the camera itself. So as you can see, it's got a lot of flat surfaces. It's a very minimalistic build in general. This obviously means there's not much of a grip on the front here, so I've actually been holding the camera kind of by the lens like this to get a more comfortable feel. In terms of ports, you've just got the micro HDMI and USB-C connections, as well as a standard microphone port. And you've also just got a single SDXC memory card down near the BLK22 battery, which is powering the camera. Also, if you're coming from a higher end Panasonic body, definitely get used to the lack of buttons on the top as well, and get used to going through the quick menu for most of your essentials. However, do bear in mind that you do have customization over some of the buttons, including the exposure compensation and all of the dial buttons as well. Otherwise, you've just got your mode dial at the top here, your shutter speed or aperture dial, and all of the buttons on the front too. You've of course got your 3-inch articulating screen. It's a 1.84 million dot with just over 1100 nits of brightness. So it's a very high quality screen, obviously compensating for that lack of a viewfinder. So of course there are a couple of things missing, including a hot shoe, mechanical shutter, and a considerable grip on the front. But it is a compact body, so we kind of expected things to be, stripped away to achieve a smaller build. So that's the design of the S9 covered. Now I'd really like to explore some of the key selling points and what Panasonic has packed into the camera. Probably the first selling point would be the fact that it is a compact full frame body. There's not a lot of these around in the market at the moment, so Panasonic's done a good job of getting in early and creating something that's actually a bit more unique than people might expect. Of course, this means we do have compatibility with Panasonic's vast collection of S-line lenses, so any Leica mount lens, including from Sigma or any other third-party brand, will be compatible with the S9. Now, something that Panasonic really honed in on in their marketing for the S9 is its incorporation of the real-time LUTs. So where Fujifilm has film simulations and Sony has their creative looks, Panasonic has come out with their LUTs. And obviously to improve simplicity, there's a LUT button, which means you have access to an array of LUTs right at your fingertips. Now this is actually the same full frame sensor that we saw in the S5 Mark II, so it is capable of shooting 24 megapixel stills and 6K 422 10-bit internal video. This also means you can capture 96 megapixel stills using the high resolution mode, which is pretty unreal for such a small portable body. And just like the S5 Mark II, you can shoot 6K open gate, which means you're not just getting a 16:9 shot, you get 3:2, and this gives you a little bit more flexibility when you're cropping your videos. Now we can't really review the S9 without touching on the Lumix Lab app as well. This will allow you to offload images and footage, as well as integrate new LUTs that you can either create yourself or take from the app. Some other things that make the S9 such a great camera is its 4K light mode, which is a storage efficient video mode, which you can use to upload to your phone, as well as the incredible 5-axis stabilization from Panasonic, which honestly is second to none. This handheld footage is amazing, even at 100mm with a macro lens, absolutely spot on. And of course, with instant LUTs, it means you can either shoot in a log format, or you can apply a Rec 709 LUT directly over the top, or any of the other filters. Now, I want to get into the consideration for the camera, so reasons that you might choose not to go for the system versus why you might want to choose it over something else. So obviously, no mechanical shutter could be a deal breaker for some. You are prone to rolling shutter and banding, and it also means that you've really got no way to use a flash with the S9, because it's just not going to agree with the electronic shutter. And for any vloggers out there that are interested in the S9, just bear in mind that it doesn't really have a front-facing microphone or a rear-facing microphone. It's just the top mounted ones here that, you know, are going to pick up everything. So not really a directional system. So I can imagine that the lack of a hot shoe and the lack of maybe a built-in flash could be a problem for some, but for others it is not an issue, and it just means that the S9 might not be for some. So primarily the S9 is geared toward people that are probably traveling with their cameras a lot and don't have a lot of time for editing in between shoots. And so Panasonic was pretty clear in their marketing that the S9 is supposed to cut out a lot of the bulk of editing. So the camera does come with some of the real-time LUTs built in, but through the Lumix Lab app you can add as many as you'd like, and I'll just give you some examples here of photo and video that was taken using the real-time LUTs. The camera also features plenty of flexible framing options, so for 16:9 footage or 9:16 footage. The S9 also has Panasonic subject detection built in, and with the new 1.1 firmware it also comes with more vehicles to detect as well. So to wrap up this quick sort of showcase of the camera, I do think the S9 is pretty unique. It's definitely a step forward for content creators and everyday shooters. It is extremely convenient and very capable for such a small camera. Basically, if you're looking for a camera that has amazing image quality, that isn't going to break the bank and won't take up too much of your bag space, the S9 is definitely something to consider. In fact, this entire video has been shot on the Lumix S9 using an array of the real-time LUTs, including just shooting the standard vlog as well. Anyway, I'm just going to wrap up this review because I've run out of sunlight here, but thanks so much for watching. My name's Angus. Be sure to click subscribe and catch us in the next videos, and we'll see you there.